Hi everyone, my name is Jean Rabel and I work at Wilkes University as an advising coordinator in University College, and I am also the chair of the University Staff Advisory Committee, USAC for short. This year for our Taste of Wilkes fundraiser for the United Way of the Wyoming Valley, we are putting together a cookbook to showcase the recipes that we have from people across our Wilkes community, which is a wonderful opportunity. We have desserts, sides, entrees, and everything that you'll be able to see in the cookbook. And today I'm going to be demonstrating one of my favorite recipes that I submitted for the Taste of Wilkes cookbook, the Saltine cracker toffee, which I'm very excited to make and show you how I go through it and make it. This is one of my favorite recipes to bake, especially for family parties. It's a favorite among a lot of my family members, so I'm really excited to share it with you all today. Baking is something that I really enjoy actually on a Sunday afternoon like this. I'm just ready to bake. I have my music on, listening to Tony Bennett on my phone. So it's something I really enjoy to do, and I'm really excited to share this with you today. To get our recipe started today, the first thing you'll need to do is preheat your oven to 400 degrees. So while that's preheating, we'll start getting everything else ready for the toffee. The first thing that you'll do is get an 8x5 baking sheet and put a sheet of parchment paper on the top of that. And for our base of our toffee, you're going to lay out 40 salted saltine crackers in total. It's going to be 8 down the pan, like this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then by 5 up top. And you'll just fill it in like so that there's 40 in total. Now that all of our saltine crackers are ready on our cookie sheet, we're going to make the toffee layer, the next part. So the first thing that we'll need to do is get 1 cup of unsalted butter, so 2 sticks in total, and put it in a saucepan to warm and melt over the stove. Now with this particular part of the recipe, since I use salted saltine crackers, that's why I'm using unsalted butter to offset the saltedness of the toffee. So the next thing we're going to do is put the butter in a saucepan in order to have it all melted before we put in our brown sugar. Once our butter is all melted, we're going to add 1 cup of brown sugar to our melted butter. So I sifted this brown sugar beforehand. It allows it to melt into it a little easier. So once we start mixing it in, we want to start to also stir it so it doesn't stick to the bottom, but it will also allow the sugar and the butter to come together well. Now once our brown sugar and butter is completely together and mixed, you're going to let it come to a boil. And once it comes to a boil, you're going to let that go for 5 minutes. But make sure you keep stirring so it doesn't burn on the bottom. Now that our toffee has been boiling for about 5 minutes and it's really come together nicely, you can see it has that toffee caramel color to it, we're going to turn off your heat on the burner, and it's ready to pour over our saltine crackers. So I'm going to actually switch from a fork to a regular spatula. Start stirring that together. Okay. So now it's ready to pour over our crackers. So we're going to pour this over our crackers slowly so we can try to get it as even as possible. And then once all of our toffee mixture is poured on our crackers, we're going to spread it evenly across the pan. Now that I've spread the whole toffee mixture over evenly with all the saltine crackers, we're now going to bake this. We're going to put it in the oven. It's 400 degrees for 6 minutes to let this all set. I usually put it on the top shelf, just like that. So while our toffee base is baking, the next thing that we'll want to do is actually melt our chocolate chips. So the recipe calls for a large bag of milk chocolate chips. Usually I just get one bag that's 23 ounces, and that definitely does the trick. There's more than enough chocolate, and it creates a nice kind of thicker layer of chocolate on top of the toffee, because that's what we're doing this for. So put it in a microwave safe bowl, pour them all out. The more the merrier, really. So we're gonna melt this in the microwave at 30-second increments. That way it won't burn. You can continually stir it in between, and it actually becomes fully melted. I usually did it over the stove initially, and that didn't really work for me, but since doing it in the microwave, it works every single time. So put it in the microwave for 30-second increments. Now our chocolate chips are all melted, just took them out of the microwave, so it all came together nicely, it's nice and warm, and our saltine crackers are now out of the oven. They have been sitting for about 2 minutes just so that it can settle, but now I'm ready to pour all the melted chocolate over the saltine crackers. So we're going to take our bowl, just pour it out over. It will come out slowly, so I'm trying to do it as evenly as possible. But then after we have it all out of the bowl, we'll have the opportunity to spread it evenly all over our saltine crackers. All this chocolate, so good. So now the melted chocolate is now spread evenly all over our saltine crackers. So our next step is going to be putting this in the refrigerator for at least 45 minutes to an hour, but it can stay in there longer actually. But once we take it out of the refrigerator, we'll cut it up into our toffee pieces. So now our toffee has been in the refrigerator for about an hour, so it is ready to cut up into pieces. Usually I cut it up with a knife, like I'm going to do now, but you can also take it and break it into pieces, really depending on the size that you want. But I'm just going to show you how I usually go about cutting it. Since it's on a sheet, I usually cut it in rows and then cut it into usually square pieces. It can be a little difficult to cut, especially since it's very solid, so you just want to be patient with it as you're moving through. So usually I start at the edge, just sometimes put some divots into the toffee, and then I can even break it up like this. Then it actually comes out in a nice square piece that you put right here. As you can see, they're in varying pieces. It really doesn't matter. Really just choose it to your liking or serving however you want it. But even if you start cutting into it, you can even start breaking it apart. Really whatever works for you. So that is my saltine cracker toffee recipe, and here is the finished product. Like I said, this is one of my favorites. Great to enjoy with a cup of coffee, great for family parties, things like that. So thank you for tuning in today. And also we appreciate you supporting our Taste of Wilkes fundraiser, and we also hope that you will support the United Way campaign as well. Thank you so much, and I hope that you and your family stay safe and well.